companies have heavily invested in AI while laying off managers, and the Global Workforce Report from Gallup identified that the number one predictor of AI success is managers. It wasn't technology, it wasn't the bucket, it wasn't a certain company over the other. It was whether the manager wasn't the executive mandate to use AI. It was whether the direct manager empowered their team to use it and told them how. So it would seem that if you just laid off a bunch of managers while investing in AI, you might have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Did y'all see my Bible Belt come out there? I've been waiting to make that reference. Okay, now that I'm done being silly, I can share with you that this publicly available data by Gallup, that managers who supported their teams with AI use, teams were 8.8 times more likely to use it. It gave them more opportunities to do what they needed to do, and companies were more likely to see an ROI on their AI investment with these managers. Without them, baby with the bathwater, it was gone. Yet, only 28% of employees in organizations implementing AI said they had a manager who was doing these things. What did Gallup say the managers actually did? They modeled AI use, they answered questions, they showed their team how AI connects to the work that they do, meaning that these managers had to already be translating what the job is and why it matters for the organization so they can make an impact and make informed decisions on how AI can support them or not. How AI can be used in their specific context and with their workloads. In other words, these managers were translators. Because the reason most employees cannot see the value of AI in their work is not that the technology itself is confusing. It's not. It can be. It can be a learning curve. It's not that the technology is confusing. It actually isn't a new problem at all. It's rooted in that nobody has made explicit how the work actually gets done and why. Which means nobody can explain how AI fits into these workflows. And if it does, if they will still have job security. For a while, even before AI, employees have been saying, what's the point? For people who grew up around manual labor, people from working class backgrounds, which if you know me, you know all of my research started with what are the unwritten rules of work for people from working class backgrounds. White collar work is very abstract compared to the manual labor they are used to doing. These are class cultural differences. They know how to do their job. They often do it very well because there's a lot of work ethic values in the working class. They're very proud of their work and they want to work hard. You have someone who's also neurodivergent, which is also a population that I work with a lot. They often pick something they love doing, and it's the office politics that are difficult. It's the knowing what the point is that is harder to see in white collar work, especially if you're not from a background that had a lot of it. But it makes a huge difference. People want a purpose. People want to see the meaning. People already don't know what that meaning is. Just throw in a tool that is threatening to replace them, and you don't have any leadership empowering them or guiding them through this, which is what leadership is for. They're not touching it. Do not automate the translation that managers do. You have to develop it. Now that's what good managers do. Last year, I spoke at a conference of middle managers and directors, and I walked them through techniques on how to be these translators, how to translate unwritten class rules between their executives and their frontline workers. The CEO of the business hosting the conference told me it was the most impactful talk they'd ever heard and invited me back for this year for double the talk time, which is really workshop time, because I don't want to talk to y'all the whole time. I want to hear what you have to say and I want to practice. He did that not because the content was motivational, and something he said that I took as a compliment is he said, you're not a B12 speaker. You're not a B12 shot speaker. You're not just going to give us a jolt of motivation, then we leave and we don't know what to do. I like that you actually told us things we can do and apply to help translate between these two groups, between executives who speak very broadly and think strategically and industry-wide for a reason, and the frontline workers who have to actually make that happen. And the translator between those is the manager. And with or without AI, that's not going to change. Or not well, as we're seeing. Not with an ROI. Managers at the conference last year thought I was impactful because they finally had language for what they were experiencing, had a framework for how to move forward. They already knew what it was costing their teams, but now they knew how to communicate it to their executives. These are things that make any adaptation possible, including AI adaptation, as we're seeing globally. Not addressing the unwritten rules, you're just automating confusion.